Good morning. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we've got back from our hectic week. We spent a week, an exciting, fun-filled week with our friends Herms and Consuelo, who you may have seen the videos about them. Two very fun ladies, and boy, we really miss you. So, what was the news after we took the ladies to the hospital? I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up. After we took the ladies to their flight at the airport in Tagbilaran, we went on and we got lost several times because Beth had the GPS, and here's just in case you don't know this, but you can get from the airport at Tagbilaran to the hospital by driving through the parking lot of ICM, the mall at ICM, and you can get there. There is a route that you can take. It's a little bit slow because because of the speed bumps, but you can do it through there. And if your GPS blows a fuse, well, then that's because it didn't have Beth as the test pilot. But anyway, finally we got into the hospital. Well, it wasn't just one hospital. We spent the morning going to several hospitals, which always involves a lot of waiting and trying to find out the way that things are going to be done. Well, we ended up actually seeing a doctor, and the doctor examined Junior. Now, the issue that we're doing here, the project here, is to try to get Junior, who has had a kidney stone for something like 5 or 6 years and has been suffering with it on and off because of that. He and his wife came to us a week or so ago, and they asked us if we could help. He had been quoted, and I'm only telling you what we were told. Alright, so there's no point in saying, oh well, you can do it for this and you can do it for that. Yes, there are programs where in certain circumstances you can receive all kinds of benefits, and we don't doubt those. What we're dealing with is the reality of taking a patient into a hospital and trying to get him treated here in the Philippines. So what this is it's a walk through real life. Now, we have been told all that a patient has to do is go to the government, and they'll give them 75,000 pesos to get their treatment. And I'm sure that this possibly is correct, but there will be strict requirements, and probably this program is there and it's available. I don't doubt it. Perhaps the restrictions might be a little limiting. You have to be over 60, accompanied by both grandparents who are able to walk, talk and still speak. And if you are accompanied by them, then that will be great-grandparents probably. You'll get the 75,000 pesos. Well, we haven't managed to go that route, so we're here dealing with things on the real basis. But from the 150,000 pesos for an operation that we were quoted, we've actually managed to go to the provincial hospital. Now, the provincial hospital is the one that, if you have been following our videos, you will have seen that there was one video saying shock visit to a hospital. That is the hospital that we went to. Now, we spoke to a really charming Dr. Ronald, who was very, very helpful. We had been told by another doctor at another hospital that would have been expensive, but still not as expensive as the 150 that we were quoted. The highest price that we were quoted was 120, but then the more realistic price came down to about 80,000 or 85,000. Now, bear in mind that that doesn't include everything. You've got to get the patient there, you've got to put them up in the hospital, you've got to admit them. There are tests which they have to do in order to to know for sure that they are able to survive an operation. And here they may have people waiting in hallways on gurneys, waiting for treatment, and it may look like a shocking situation, and it is, but they do have their requirements for putting people under and interfering with their body parts. Okay, so our friend Junior has had the tests. He had the tests the day before yesterday, and yesterday we spent the entire day taking them and putting them through the hoops that you need to put them through in order to be able to get a place. So here's the deal. You can go in and you can get relatively free treatment. You do have to still come up with some money. You have to get the test done, and then there is still a fee. But the fee, we did get quoted a fee by one of our subscribers who said that he or she had been online and found that you could get that operation for 50,000. Well, I'm sure that that's true, and we took that figure as our base figure. Let's see if we can get it for 50,000. Well, the bottom line, and I don't want to make this into a big marathon. Somebody said, oh God, it was like War and Peace. Okay, sorry about that one. So, we did manage to get it down. We spoke to this young man, Ronald, and he spoke with the surgeon who would be doing the operation. They're actually doing the thing where they put the camera down in through a small hole that they've made in the body. They inflate the chest so that they have more space to work, and so that they can see if there's anything there which is remiss, like a tumour, and as long as all is well, they are able to do that. Now, if there is something there which should be taken out, like a tumour, then they open the body and they do open surgery. But if they can, they do it with these their endoscopic things, which I'm not familiar with. Right, so they can do it that way, high tech, and there's relatively short recovery rate, and the person who has that kind of operation is back in action literally in days. Obviously, if they open it, it's a little bit like a woman having cesarean birth, and there's a 4 or 5 or maybe 6-inch wound that has to heal, and they don't like to do that because of the risk of infection. So we're going for what we hope is the better choice. Now, here's the deal that they offered us. We went in and we hopefully charmed the doctor into remembering us especially, and he looked through the schedule and he found that there is one day on the 24th of this month where the chances are that if Beth and the church pray hard enough, they will have enough time left over to do this one unscheduled operation on Junior. So that is the hope. There's no promise has been made. They haven't yes, 24th he will be operated on, because he's not really been scheduled in. But well, he has been scheduled in, but he's I guess on standby. So he's on the standby list. If everything goes well, everything's perfect, it's not raining, everything all things going well, he will be operated on that day. That means that he has to be booked in, admitted to the hospital on the 22nd. So 22nd is the big day. Take him down there. Now here's the other thing. The tests that he's had done, as far as having an operation go, pre-op, they are only valid for, I think, 2 weeks, because they take into account all health indications which may change in 2 weeks, especially if you're having an invasive procedure done. So they insist that after 2 weeks, if we fail to get him in for an operation, or they fail to do the operation on the 24th, then he will be rescheduled with a definite date for April. And we're hoping, obviously, for this month. So, that's our situation. Now, the really good news is, well, that would be the really good news, all right? But for us, as providing some kind of funding, the real good news is that it looks like for an absolute base price, not including any medication, not including any of the extras, we've got to get up there, we've got to be with him, we've got to stay. He's going to be there for 2 weeks, for the 2 days prior to the hospital appointment of the surgery. We're going to go there, and the wife will be with him all the time, but we'll have to stay outside, so we'll have to book him for 2 or 3 nights, and we'll find a cheap hotel, and we'll go and book so that we're there to handle any problems. And the base price has been 15,000. So really we're getting it for nothing, based on the provincial hospital being there for the people. So that's the really good news. Then on top of that, there'll be hotel rooms, expenses for getting up there. It's nearly it's about a 3-hour drive there and back, and the various expenses that come up. So that's the good news. We thank those who have made it possible. There's Model. She provided 29,000. Thank you so much. And also our friend Ross, who has done so much for Manorado. So thank you, Ross, for coming in so quickly and sending that money. So we have that. So we have actually 39,000 pesos. Ross came in with 10,000. I've forgotten the exact price, but something like 10,800, and I think that was his donation. Thank you. Now, if there's anything left over, let's say that we take Ross's as being the basic, and then on to Models, who has donated 29,000. Well, whatever is left over, our instructions are that we can put that towards something that we think is worthy. And the next thing that we're trying to do is to give a house to the Dancing Man. And the Dancing Man, for those who followed the video about the singing dancing congregation in Ubay, will know that he is the little guy that was such a great dancer and a great character. And he is up next to Pastor Gilbert's house, in a house that is probably, if anything, even worse than the 3 little girls' house, and that was pretty bad. So we're trying to help him. So that's our plan. Beth wanted me to add to this that she and the congregation here will be adding their prayer power, and they hope that those of you who are of a like mind will be giving their assistance and pushing their shoulder to the idea of the prayer power being so powerful, as it proved for the mother-in-law in the recent surgery that we were able to provide for. So that's it from me. Thanks for looking in. We have a few videos made on some other subjects, so we'll get on to doing our work. Bye for now. This is a